What's up, all you lovely internet movie fans, and welcome back to Caped Commentary. I'm, of course, your host, Austin Johnson. Happy Saturday to you all, and this is a special edition of Caped Commentary with the Peacemaker after show. We just got episode 7. I've watched it. It's a great episode. It sets up a much anticipated finale, and we got some thread lines that are kind of happening. We're going to see what's going to go on in the QUC, the new dimensions that we may see, and a ton of other stuff to do in terms of this episode and what it sets up. I can't wait for the finale. I've loved this show so far this season, and let me just say, this song has really grown on me. But let's discuss right now and recap episode 7, the penultimate for Peacemaker season 2. We see ads just running through the neighborhood, being pursued by all of these people, and it's very funny. Just like, what the hell is happening right now? And she's sprinting, jumping over this fence. She runs through this backyard into a pool, and she's being pursued. And these people are not stopping. And then she sees who else? Judo Master, who we had seen go into the dimension, but really hadn't seen any side of him since. He helps her out the pool, and then just shocks and electrocutes like tens and 20, like probably 30, 40 people in the pool, just killing them all. Like, very funny. And she's like, thanks, like, have you ever done this before? And he's like, I've only killed 4 people. This is the most I've ever done, electrocute in a pool before. Very funny scene. They're able to escape into a house that Judo Master's actually been hiding out in. And in the meantime, we switch over to Argus, where Chris and Amelia are being, of course, confronted by the alternate dimension Amelia. And she says, arrest him. And then Chris just looks at her and goes, I'm sorry. And they just him and Amelia Hardcourt, start taking out everyone at the Argus agency, and then they get out and, in terms of his like flying ability that he has on his chest. And he goes to the peace cycle, and he has a very funny quote where he's like, hey, like, is the portal big enough like for this cycle? Because I want to bring it with me. And she's like, what the hell? And then he just escaped from Argus there. And like, that whole scene is very funny too, because there's a moment where Hardcourt goes, how did you not realize like you were in this terrible dimension? Like, there's mind comms on everyone's desk, and then over there, look at that giant mural of Hitler. It's just, he turns and just a huge like mural. He's like, oh, it's very, very funny, from like a scary movie moment, Naked Gun moment, where it's just like massive mural. Like, how did he never see any of those things too? So very funny scene. But they're escaping too. And then we switch over to his house in the alternate dimension, where we have Augie, of course, has Economos tied up. Economos, absolute, just terrible liar. Terrible liar. And he's like, I was just a random thief who made up things. Don't believe anything that I said. And he's like, that's bullshit. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Like, Economos, what the hell, man? So Augie has him tied up, and then Economos sees Eagly, and he's like, Eagly, hey, help me out. And Eagly just has the funny bit where he just always ignores Economos, doesn't do anything he ever says, and he's like, fuck you too, Eagly. So he's there trapped, and it's unfortunate. And so Keith arrives, and he has a conversation with Augie, and Augie's like, I think we have a big problem with your brother. And Keith's like, all right, I'm coming home right now. And they have the whole conversation, and then so they're like, all right, we have to find Hardcourt and Chris, because Keith is like, Amelia's been acting very weird too. She's wearing pants. Like, pants? No way. And so they go out to find him. And then so we see Chris and Hardcourt being pulled over on his peace cycle. Cops around them. They're like guns ablaze, about to shoot. All of a sudden, Augie and Keith arrive down, fight down. They just mow down all the cops, and like they say, hey, you're coming with us right now. So then they're bringing Chris and Hardcourt back to the house, with Economos being there. And then we see Judo Master and Ads having a great conversation over at the house that Judo Master's been staying at. And he informs her about like what happened there. Don't be a minority, gay, Buddhist, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's like, yeah, it's terrible. Just like, basically, if you're nothing but white Christian, like, you shouldn't be here right now. Like, you're going to be, like, bad things are going to happen to you. But they have a very cool conversation. They're getting to know each other a little bit. And it's like, they have more in common than you might think. But then Judo Master's like, all right, at the fall of, like, nightfall, we are going to go back to the house and get through that portal to get back home, because this dimension is just absolutely crazy. And then we see Adrian. He's with his alternate self, and he finds out that, oh, this place is where the Nazis won. All right, I have a black friend I came over with that we should probably get to. And so they go over there, all converging on the house. And so Chris and Amelia back there with Augie and Keith. Chris tells them like how he eventually came to the dimension, what happened to their version of Chris, and that he's just really sorry. He didn't mean to kill him at all. He really just like, he wanted to do good. And he's like, I took out your Chris. I killed him by accident. I didn't really mean to, but I felt that. And he's like, I just wanted a family. And that's why I came back to this dimension, was hanging out with you guys, was being with you guys. And Augie is understanding. It's very interesting too, because it's basically like whatever happens in that dimension, like with terms of the worldview, Augie is just a complete contrarian to it. So, of course, with the Nazis winning in World War II, and it's like Nazi rule and controlled, Augie is a good person here for the most part, for what it seems like. He's not the white dragon that we know for our main DC universe. And so Chris like loves that, and that's an endearing fact. And then Police arrive. They say that hey, we're looking for your son, Chris. Augie says you're not there. And as the police are arriving, Augie tells him no. And so he goes back and they continue to have a conversation. The vigilantes now arrive and they see ads and Judah Master. And Vigilante's like, whoa, you're with this guy? And she's like, no, he's cool. Like, hey, we're all trying to get out of here. And so they don't all understand that. But then the vigilantes see Augie in there and just spring in, attack, and then just stab him, just like repeatedly in the neck. It's a crazy scene. I'm like, holy cow, did not see that coming. Everyone is shocked too. And it's like, this is a good version of Augie actually. And no, Vigilante from that dimension kills him. And you're just like, oh my gosh. And the police hear that, they rush in now, and then a confrontation starts happening between the police. The vigilantes start shooting at them. Everyone's running for their lives, and we gotta get to the dimensional portal. We gotta set it up. So Chris runs to the back, tries to set it up. They're trying to get out of it, and then vigilantes just keep spraying at the cops, taking out everyone. He actually gets shot. Like, our vigilante actually gets shot. And then Keith is like, you killed my dad, you killed my brother, you're not leaving. And so he tackles Chris, they're fighting, and then all the people for 11th Street Kids pile onto Keith. They're punching him, they're stabbing him, they're basically gonna kill Keith. Like, it's gonna be over for him. And then Chris is like, as he's seeing this happen, he has these flashbacks to like what happened to his brother, his actual Keith, and what he did when he accidentally killed him. And he just yells like, stop, like, we can't keep doing this. It's like a very emotional scene from John Cena. I loved it too. The emotion he's able to portray in that moment, it's just, you feel it too, because he's just like, I can't keep doing this. And he said, we can't keep doing this to people. So he saves Keith and he tells him, I'm sorry, man. And he is like in very bad shape, and they're like, we gotta go. And so eventually they go through the portal. The vigilante from that universe actually tells him like, go, I'll hold them off. He starts spraying, and as they all run through, Keith is laying there like bleeding on the floor, and Hardcore is the last one to leave. She asks for Vigilante's gun, looks down at him. She's actually about to kill him. She's like, I can't have you coming after him. But then the police burst into that room. Vigilante pushes her through the portal as she looks, and he kicks the door closed, and they're all stand off there, and they go through the dimensional portal now. They're running through the QC back to their own door, go through, and as they walk in through, they're like, all right, now what? So like Chris knows, like, I'm going to turn myself into the Argus, essentially, and Rick Flag Sr., and I'm going to give them the dimensional like portal. So he closes the portal. While all this is going on, Rick Flag Sr. goes to meet with Sidney Halperson. Of course, we know he was one of Lex Luthor's like henchmen, his right-hand man, the guy with the mustache. And he's like, hey, if you find where this portal, like the portal energy is coming from, like Lex asked you to help me, like, do it. And he's like, what's in it for me? Like, I get time for my sentence? He's like, no. Lex asked you to help me, so you're going to do that. And Halperson does it. Tells them where it is. Rick Flag Sr., all of them, Bordeaux, Fleury, they all go and meet up with them at the house. And as they're coming out, they confront them too, and then John Cena looks at them, throws down the dimensional rift portal, like the machine, and says, they convinced me to bring this to you. They had anything to do with it. It's all me. You want me? I'm turning myself in. Everyone looks at him, and Rick Flag Sr. actually asks Judah Master, is this all true? Judah Master says, yes. So they arrest Peacemaker. He's going into Argus custody now with Rick Flag Sr., and that's kind of where it ends, with everyone just looking like what's going to happen next. So pretty good episode. I really liked it too. Of course, like, there's a lot going on, a lot happening. Of course, and I watched a preview for the next week's episode, and a lot's about to happen. They're going to be exploring some of the more dimensions with Peacemaker's portal. They're going to open it, go and see. So I think we're going to have a lot that's going to find out too. Of course, James Gunn's already said that the episode 8 is going to be bonkers. There's going to be a lot of reveals too. Of course, it has to do with the dimensions. Like, it has to do something with that. That's all it can mean. But I'm very curious to see where they explore and how it's going to lead directly into Man of Tomorrow, because we know he said that, and we know there's another big cameo that's going to happen. I have no idea what it could be. I'm very intrigued to hear about what it is and eventually see it unfold on the big screen. I can't wait. This show has been phenomenal. I don't know if we're going to get it season 3 ultimately, but we're going to see these characters again somewhere. I believe it. James Gunn has said it, and I'm very curious to see in what capacity also. So I love this week's episode. It's great. It sets up a great finale that I'm very much looking forward to, with lots of loose ends to kind of tie up to, and we're going to go with the story overall. Can't wait to see all this happen unfold. Great episode. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you guys next Saturday. Remember, Peacemaker drops the finale on Thursday night. Be ready for that. We're going to discuss it. I can't wait to discuss it with you guys. And just be sure to tune in on Tuesday for Cape Commentary Movie News Review. I will see you guys then. Love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.